Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and I work with a lot of individuals with attachment wounds. I'm also a doctoral student of psychology. A lot of my patients are avoidantly attached. They're both dismissive and fearful, but if they're fearful, they tend to be leaning dismissive. I work with individuals, couples, and sometimes families, so I see a lot of different variables to these relationships and the conflicts that may arise, but I also see different stages of an individual's life. And today I wanted to go over a topic that a lot of people are asking in many different ways, and so I tried to compile a list of some of the aspects that I'm seeing, and of course I will make more and continue to evaluate my patients and bring that information to you guys. But it's kind of the critical reasons why avoidance finally settled down. And why I said critical is because I feel like they're pretty specific, and sometimes it feels like they come out of nowhere. It's not. When I'm working with an avoidant individual in session, I can see that it's not coming out of nowhere, but sometimes the partner literally thinks it's coming out of nowhere because avoidants are not very good at translating their inner thoughts to their partner. And so that's kind of why I said critical, just because it kind of pops out of nowhere. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's kind of what it felt like. And the first reason that avoidant individuals do finally settle down with their partner, and I think this is probably actually the most prominent reason, and I've actually never seen it happen. Well, I have, but this is the most common reason it happens, where they feel like you as the partner have added to their life, and you both have added to each other's lives, both comfort, security, but also knowledge. You've expanded their life. And so basically they feel like their life would be pretty meaningless, not meaningless, but less meaningful without you. And so their perception is, okay, you add a lot to my life. What more can you add? That's kind of the way it feels like. What more can you add? What would life be like if you were always around? Not every day, every second, but yeah, I guess every day. Like, you live in the same house, you get married. What would life be like if we made financial decisions together? What would life be like if we have, a morning routine together? What would life be like if I knew you were my wife or husband? What more would you add to my life? Because you've already added so much. I want to know how much more. And also, it's a perspective where a lot of avoidant individuals, they really actually know that they're afraid to commit. They know. And so it's going to sound weird, but I'm just being honest with you. It's almost like they realize that sometimes it's like they're doing it for you, but it's not in like a resentful way. It's like in a way where they're like, I care about you, I love you, and this will make you happy. It'll make me happy too, but I want to do it because it'll make you happy. Like, it's a giving type of feeling. Avoidant individuals do that in general. It doesn't mean they're going to resent you. It doesn't mean they don't love you, but sometimes that's part of it too. You've added so much to their life, they want to add to your life. That's kind of the feeling. The next one is, which is also incredibly common, is that this person that they've settled down with, married, whatever your word is, you've made them see a perspective of relationships they did not have before you. And so they're seeing how you two operate together, and it makes them want to have that forever. They realize relationships are not that bad. They realize, hey, I can do relationships. As avoidants, one of their biggest triggers is they don't think they can do relationships. Maybe they don't have enough social skills. Maybe they don't compromise enough. Maybe they'll never be loved. Maybe they won't be appreciated for being independent. But you've navigated all those things. You've accepted them. You've shown that relationships can be easy. You've shown that relationships can be rewarding. You've shown that relationships are worth cultivating. And so that perspective of relationships is different. And so they have now recognized, I want you. I want you to stay. I want to give you what you want. I want to change. I want to grow with you. I like this, and I'm okay with having this forever. That's a very common reason as well, okay? The third one, which actually it is part of it, but it's that they're tired of, the dating scene. This is not always the reason. It's usually not the most prominent reason. It's never the prominent reason, but it is a factor that they recognize that, okay, relationships actually are comfortable. My partner and I are really doing well. And if we broke up or we weren't together anymore, How am I going to know if I am going to get somebody as good as this person? And having a long-term committed relationship has given me benefits, and I don't want to go back to the stress of unpredictable casual dating. That happens. Avoidants feel like that. And so that's kind of their process. And this is actually more of a conscious thought than you recognize. This is not unconscious. The other ones are both unconscious and conscious. This one is kind of conscious. Like, they definitely have had that thought. A lot of them do. And I think it's normal. I think most people do before they get married. Not really to do with attachment styles. It's just common, right? The next one is that your partner trusts you very deeply. Trust is significant for avoidant individuals. This is a very critical reason. If an avoidant does not trust you, it's really not going to happen, or it's not going to last. Avoidant individuals, when they trust you, a lot of them are willing to give you pretty much everything they have. And so it's a huge risk. It's a huge risk. Avoidant individuals are all eggs in one basket once they commit to you. They're just like that. And that's their attachment style. It's their nature. It's the way they are. I mentioned this before, and you guys, if you watch my other videos, you guys know that I talk about this. But avoidant individuals, they take a really, really long time to pick things, whether it be their car, whether it be their house, whether it be like clothes, like maybe they're watching something, waiting it's on sale, or they talk themselves out of buying it. Avoidant individuals, they take really long to commit to something. But once they do, that is it. They'll hold on to it for as long as possible. And I've mentioned that's more common with fearful avoidance, right? I mentioned they will hold on to things, shirts even when they have holes in it, socks even when they have holes in it. This is just the way this attachment style has become, both fearful and dismissive. And that's okay. It's a good thing, right? And so when they trust you deeply, they're not going to let you go. Why would they? Unfortunately, you've gone through all of their ups and downs. That's not unfortunate, but they've also probably done some tests. They probably didn't realize they were doing it, but that's what they're doing. And you passed all of them. So what's to lose? They're going to give you absolutely everything they have, right? And so when they trust you very deeply, of course they're going to settle down and get married and whatever their perspective is with marriage. I don't know what your guys' perspective is, but a lot of avoidant individuals, they do want to get married. I hear it a lot. And so it's really important to recognize that that's part of why. The next one is both of you guys understand each other's flaws without thinking it's a barrier to love. This one is pretty significant, okay? Just because an anxious, preoccupied individual crashes out every now and again does not mean the avoidant individual is going to think that it's a barrier. They shouldn't. Just because the avoidant individual shuts down every now and again, it doesn't mean it's a barrier. Now, when I mean shuts down, it doesn't have to be like for 3 hours they don't talk to you. Maybe it's just like 5 minutes. Maybe it's 10 minutes. Maybe they get a little bit snippy after they had a hard day at work. But that's not a barrier to love. It just means, hey, I noticed that you're, a little bit short with me. Did you have a hard day? Then the avoidant can say, yeah, I did. I didn't realize. Thanks for pointing it out. Easy, right? Easier said than done, but after years and years and years together, it's probably going to be that easy, right? The next one is they feel like their need for space can be respected. Avoidant individuals, they do like space. They like to have certain things in place, and space is part of that. They typically are pretty scheduled or regimented, and so maybe before bed, they need like an hour or two where it's not like deeply emotional. They just need to relax. That's very important. They can't always have that emotional charged conversation. And that's important to recognize. They're less emotionally flexible than anxious, preoccupied, okay? So that's very important. And the very last one is one of the critical reasons that avoidant individuals finally settle down, choose to settle down, marry, commit, whatever it may be, is they are healing their attachment wounds. This is almost always part of the reason. They're healing. They become more secure. They're letting go of some of their fears, and they trust you more. And that has healed a lot of their wounds, because avoidant individuals, a lot of their wounds are not going to come up when they're working, when they're driving, when they're cooking, when they're cleaning. It's going to come up in relationships. And so as the relationship has progressed, they recognize they're happier as a person. They're becoming more willing to grow and change, and you're part of that. And they've healed, and they've decided, okay, this is okay. I want this forever. And they've settled and chosen you to get married to, right? I hope this video was helpful. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.